Welcome everyone. Today I have a very exciting update for the Endgame Mind over Matter summoners we have for tier 15 and also for bossing. Now looking behind me, I want to show you guys this demonstration and let's have a look at how well the damage is against the bosses in tier 15. And it's gone. Yes, the latest update of the build makes us do a lot more damage to the bosses and things die super fast. And of course, I'll be explaining the build update and everything related to this build with you guys. On the later part of the video, we'll also have a look at this build in one of the Pinnacle Guard maps. So this is one of the 3 Pinnacle Guard maps, and this is the Iron Citadel. Is it Iron Citadel? Yes, it is Iron Citadel. And this has some really extreme modifiers which can be very unpleasant for many builds. And we'll be using a harder map to demonstrate to you guys the survivability and also the ability of this build in harder content and also stronger modifiers. Of course, we'll jump over to the boss as well, and you get to see the fights with the boss. The build has some really decent survivability and also tons of damage against the boss. Now, just to help you guys to understand everything, at the end of this video, you can also see all the skills, all the gems, and also all the items that was used during the recording of this video. I'm very thankful and also grateful for Dramkast for continuously helping us to update the build and also testing things out. So there's a lot of wonderful things I want to share with you guys, and let's go through the video. Now, as a brief overview of this updated build, we're still regenerating a lot of mana on killing monsters, and you can see in the harder content you can still take some damage, but your mana and also health is restored instantly, which I'll share you guys with a new tag and also new ways of restoring both mana and also health. Together with abilities to increase critical rate of your minions through the new scepter, which I'll show you guys the powers, we have also updated the skill gems, skill links, and also combination to deal even higher damage through curses and also through minions and also through abilities. So yes, very excited to share this build with you guys. It has become one of the strongest DPS build for the summoners, I think, and we'll be making this build better through tankiness and also through even higher damage. So coming over to a builder's guide. Now, if you guys have noticed, there is a new variant function for the build. The previous build is still there if you guys want to try this one. It is a little more durable. The new build has higher damage. So make sure you click on the variant in the links below for the latest update. So firstly, let's have a look at the choice of skills. The most important skill for 6th link is going to be the Skeleton Arsonist with Feeding Frenzy, Scatter Shot, with Fire Penetration, Fire Infusion, and also Immolate for additional damage. Now, do keep in mind, we have had some recommendations to put Martial Tempo in replace of Feeding Frenzy or any of the other fire skills because of Martial Tempo seems to be giving you more attack speed and attack go through firewalls to deal even higher bonus fire damage. But during the testings and also during the fights, we couldn't really tell the difference. And you can see that against the boss, most of the time they melt instantly. So it is harder to tell which one will be better and whether the skeleton's bonus attacks are actually benefiting multiple times from this particular attack speed or just higher damage in general will finish the boss within 1 or 2 seconds. The Pen offering is the only offering we're using right now for the endgame with Persistence, Obligation, Dense Macabre, and also Front of Rage. In terms of Firewall, we have gotten Firewall to 5 links over here with Mobility, Fortress, Arcane Tempo, and also Arcane Surge for more mana regen and also faster casting speed. The Raging Spirit for the build is now a fully supporting build with Calling Strike, Main, Disbobulate, and also Cannibalism over here. So this allows you to actually gain life recovered while the Raging Spirit actually kills monsters. And this, as you can see in some of the replays as we fight enemies, when the life goes down, you have more ways of gaining life, which is quite rare. Most of the time you have lots of mana to cover with that. And finally, you can increase the speed of the Raging Spirit to debuff enemies with Martial Tempo. So we kind of feel like Martial Tempo for the final link is a little better, but you can also see in the later part of the skill showcase, we actually didn't get the 6th link for my friend yet, because it is quite costly to go for 6th link. Now over here, one of the biggest updates for the build is actually coming from the Summoning Infernal Hound. Over here we have Mid Shield for additional tankiness and also of course Fire Explosion for additional bonuses against enemies that reduce their fire resistance. Now one big discovery is Strip Away. This allows you to enhance your supporting skills by 30%, which means you'll lower further the enemy's fire resistance. On top of that, you can have Minion Mastery to plus level 1 to this skill and also Fire Mastery to plus 1 more level to this particular skill. and this makes it a little broken. So let me show you guys some screenshots. This is what the skill looks like after you get 2 ranks with 30,000 HP. Now, one thing I do want to mention, how do you get 6 links for the Summoning Infernal Hound is after reaching level 90 with your Infernalist. You will automatically unlock the final socket after level 90. So look at the stats over here, 31,000 HP, and also you have tons of recovery of life and also tons of AoE fire ignite damage. Now look at this before you get the 2+2. So this is a pretty hefty difference. If you don't have the +2 of those sockets, you would have less health and also less fire damage in comparison. So socketing for both of the minion mastery and also the fire mastery allows you to get tons of more scaling for the endgame for the 6 link Infernal Hound. Now in terms of flammability, it is still the same as before, heightened curse, magnifying effect, and also inspiration. And finally, in terms of malice, because we're using the new weapon malice, and for this weapon, we haven't had time to min and max all the sockets. You can have up to 3, 4, or 6 sockets. At the moment, the recommendation is, if you have spare 10 reservation of spirit that is unused, you can use clarity. But you can see in the actual replay, my friend actually is min out. He doesn't have any spirit left over. He has 400 spirit, 440 spirit, and 0 spirit. So this is why this skill is actually not socketed in the game. But that said, if you guys do have spare spirits, you can use clarity for more mana regen, which will increase your survivability. But it's not worth it to lose 1 skeleton arsonist because of this. Now coming over to the skill trees, you can see that the skill tree on the planner is a little further than what my friend had. And yes, you can see his current planner as well in the end of the replays. So what has changed? We have perked out all of the shield block over here because this takes a lot of more points and doesn't seem to be needed. And my friend is also block capped at 75%, so he doesn't need additional blocks over here. Now we are going into more crit damage, and you can see there might be crits over here, and there's also crits over here that you can take. Together with abilities to take enhanced curse in the future levels will greatly enhance your damage and even survivability if you're on the run enfeeble. So a majority of the skills are similar, you're still getting a lot of minion life, you're still getting all the good notes, and this allows you to be very flexible. You can even run 2 curses in the future should you want to do that with more spirit reservation. Now briefly coming over to the latest update of my friend's gears and also the choices of FXs. And we have had some recommendations to say what are the priority of the FXs. I'll try to remind you guys. And I do want to correct on the previous video, I thought my friend had a +5 with minion skills. He actually had a +4 minion skills. So his build can become even stronger if he get a +5 all minion skills on the scepter. So the scepter over here, the base is Malice. After Malice, you want percentage increase spirit and also plus skill ranks to minion skills. And you want to calculate the percentage correctly so that you can summon the maximum minions with the spirit. You can also increase quality to 20%, together with anything that increases allies damage, together with flat damage increase for allies, increase critical damage, increase attack speed is good. But the priority is going to be increase minion skill rank to the highest you can get, together with maximum spirit with the right base. This base will allow you to do higher crit damage, which is actually pretty good. And similar to all of our previous videos, what I want to show you guys is, if you have watched the previous video, I talk about getting the scepter and also important gears for this build. Similar to that build, all the links over here is helped you to find the items I talk about in those videos. So this means if you want to shop for items for this build, I have the filters made for you. I also have the options for you to go with Skeleton Warriors should you want to do that. This is those are baits, by the way. Don't click those. Those are those are price fixes, so you can ignore them. And over here, you can see that I have those filters ready for you. Look at this one. I also have those filters ready for you. So I have the filters ready for you. So make sure you take advantage of those filters. As I make the guide, all the links over there, just quickly read through and you'll find so much resource and save you tons of time for each of our builds. Now, unfortunately, the downside of me giving you guys all the links to buy the items is that sometimes the price of item will go up if people start to follow this build. So this is why I strongly recommend you guys to subscribe and also turn the notification on, because if you lose those links and follow the latest build, if there's any gear changes and you want to follow those, the links will help you to buy those items quickly. So the early bird that come to this video, that like the video and also want to try the build, all the links will help you to get the items for cheaper before the inflation hits. Sometimes the inflation is so bad that I can't even afford my own gems. And you can see some of my gems are still the crappy ones with 2%, and some of them are still the 1% gems. So yes, the inflation is pretty strong. Now after that, you can see the helmet. The helmet is focused on getting additional minion skill rank together with maximum life, maximum mana, any stats you're short, and also resistance. So those are the priorities. In terms of amulets, it is similar. You can try to get a +2 or +3 minion mastery on the amulet or minion skills. After that, focus on maximum life over maximum mana or energy shield, because maximum life also scales to give you even higher spirit. You can try to find spirit on the amulet, but it is much more costly. Getting more energy shield, more mana means that you will have more mana, and this becomes defensive. And finally, any stats with intelligence, resistance will help a lot, because you need a lot of intelligence to 6-socket your skills and also abilities. Now the latest anointed enchantment for the amulet is now to increase block chance by 30%, and also you take 10% damage from block hits. This is actually not bad with deflection, so we has changed the enchantment a little bit to get even more block chances. In terms of the shield, you should prioritize on getting a really high block chance bonus shield with maximum life, additional stats, and also tons of resistance. And preferably a high armor mine is also not bad. As for the rings, you're getting all the maximum life, maximum mana, stats you need, resistance, and even cold resistance, even chaos resistance is really good. For the chest, you want maximum spirit. After that, maximum life, any stats you are short, and also tons of resistance. And you can also see the socketing over here. So similarly for this ring, you can see this maximum life, tons of resistance, a really good chaos resistance. Some of the mana regen is not bad, but we don't really need much mana regen. And of course, this is our best in-slot gloves. This is what makes the build work. So you need these gloves. And these gloves, you don't really need any of those stats. All of the stats are okay. If lucky, you can get 2 sockets. If you watch our previous video, you can valve those gloves, and then this will give you 2 sockets for tons of resistance you're missing. Now, one essential part about this build is that it revolves around mana on killed gems, and all of those gems over here is important to get at least 1% or 2% in combination with those gloves. If you guys are looking at the passive tree and also the gears, those are quite important for gearing for this build. Otherwise, you won't have so much mana gain and you'll start dying. And here we have switched the belt out of the unique belt. So currently I am still using a unique belt, it still works, but for my friend in the endgame, he's gaining too much mana and he doesn't need the belt anymore, so he actually prefers the additional stats. You can see that he's getting additional charges, additional life, additional mana, and also lots of resistance whenever he can find them. As for the boots, you want higher movement speed, maximum life, maximum mana, resistance, and all the classic. And now you can notice that he even socketed a 2% mana gem in the boots, and this is because as you can see on this screenshot, my friend Dramkast has maxed out with all of his resistance. Yes, let me move over there a little bit. You can see all the resistances are maxed. You can also try to cap them a little bit over 75 because some maps will lower your resistance. And this allows him to become very durable with also capped block chance close to 75. It's actually 74%. Now in terms of the potions and also the charm usage, we're having the anti-stun charm and also the anti-chaos charm just for more defensiveness. And this also provides us with more guard and also protection. In terms of the potions, we have increased amount recovered, increased charge gained, and any quality on those flags are really good. Again, increased amount recovered and also increased charge gained. Now briefly coming over to the skill tips and also rotations for the build. Because you no longer have skeleton warriors, you can summon your ritual freely to gain a boost of damage. You don't want to go too far away from your minions, otherwise you get desummoned. You're summoning flaming spirits through firewalls, and this will allow you to have additional coverage with minions, and you can travel the map pretty fast. In terms of the burning ground or any debuff on the ground, you are constantly losing life, and this is what you want to do. You want to find enemies, kill them to gain tons of mana. And in that sense, once you face enemies, your sustain is extremely high because you have so many ways of getting mana and also life back quickly. You can see 90% of the time, the potions are not used because you are regenerating so much faster. When one enemy dies, your mana will instantly go up to almost maximum. Now in terms of the boss fight, it is very simple. You set the firewalls up and you spike your skeleton minions for a ritual. And once everything is buffed like this, you just watch the boss melt. don't forget to debuff the boss with a curse. And that's all you need to do. Just watch the boss melt, it's so fast, it's actually incredible. Now before I finish the video, I also want to bring you guys to this particular boss fight. This is the first attempt, my friend, against the Iron Citadel, and you can see the boss is melting extremely fast. So in terms of damage, we don't have any problems, but I do want to refer you back on this interesting interaction which makes us think we can make the build even tankier. So here the boss is dying super fast, right? But the slam almost killed us. Look at that mana and look at the health. So this is why you want to stack both mana and also health, and preferably more health as you get more spirit. But other than this close call, we don't have any problem against this boss. So let me show you guys again another fight against this boss. So you can see on the second attempt against the wolf boss, we don't really have a problem. So yes, even though we try to make the build very durable, it is important, guys, to dodge the one-shot mechanics coming from the bosses. Especially the endgame bosses are very rare, and you don't want to lose the entire map because you get one-shotted. So, no matter how good the build is, if you tank the boss's one-shot mechanics, it's not going to be enjoyable, right? So here is another showcase of the fight, which here, you try to avoid that. And you can see the build does so much damage and the boss melts before he even did his one-shot mechanics. And this is pretty fun, right? So hopefully you guys enjoy the build. And here you can see all the replays that was demonstrated with against tier 15 bosses, and also a full run of a strong and also difficult modifiers with a tier 15 Citadel. And finally, coming over to the final part, you can see another fight of the Citadel when we shot or one-shot the boss before his mechanics. And together with all the skills and also gems and everything, oh boy. So we make sure everything's prepared for you guys so you can understand and also learn the build and try it out yourself.
You cannot stop us. We will take the power that we deserve.
Not if I take yours first.
Now, before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.